Hey guys, welcome to Crow Dislike. These are basically videos of things I dislike, so you might agree with them, might not. With that being said, today's topic is actually an interesting one. Something that I have dealt with many years in my life, and I really never talked about it. And that's how expensive cards are. So the expensive cards. So I'm gonna begin with saying, if anybody collects old school baseball sports cars, period, especially if they're autographed, yeah, they're very, very, very expensive. And if you're interested in that hobby, yeah, have fun getting those cards. Same goes for any type of other cards. But right now, I'm only going to talk about cards that I know of, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Magic and Pokemon. And yeah, there are other cards that are also expensive, but in this case, I'm just going to talk about what I remember. And I'm going to begin off with Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it's one that I remember the most. Now, all of these cards are no longer as expensive as they used to be, but they were expensive when they came out. Ice Barrier Bionic was like a $50 card. Luckily, when it got, and another thing that sucked about it was Europe got a bunch of these guys in a structure deck. America never got it. So they had to import these cards from Europe to bring it over here so they can drop the price down for this guy, and then he was like around 20 bucks. But we could have paid like around 10 bucks for that structure deck just to get ourselves a Bionic. But nope. That didn't happen. Bloodluster Soldier, anybody who remembers him, plus Chaos Envoy at the beginning, these guys dominated in those in that era. They got banned, and then the ban list started because of these guys, and because of them, they were actually pricey when they came out. They were around 30, 40, 50, 60 dollars when they came out. For those of you who remember Armades when he first came out, he was by far top 10 monsters that actually have won many tournaments around the world, and Armades is one of them. And he was around 50 when he came out, and because again, popularity made that card go up, just like Crystal Wing Synchron Dragon. He was another card that was around 90, 80, $100 depending on the seller. The next two I'm going to talk about is Dracosack and Big Eye. These two guys were also very, very expensive when they came out. If you guys remember, when the Dragon Elements came out, it was like, well, they're commons. We can make a strong deck just by getting these guys. Awesome. But then there were two cards that became very popular for those two decks. For that deck that made these guys go up in price. And Big Eye and Dracosack were worth 80 a piece. And there were people who were buying these guys at 80 a piece, and they paid like 240 just for a set of 3 Draco-Sacks and another 240 just for another 3 Big Eyes, just so they can beat people in tournaments or try to actually beat other people while playing the game. So yeah, they were very, very expensive. And another card that a lot of people know that it was expensive was Maxi. When Maxi first came out, wow, that was a card that made people think, should I continue special summoning, but then I get him to draw? And this card became such a staple for many decks and many people to like kind of say, well, if you keep special summoning, I'm going to keep drawing. And people don't want that. So it became a card that was worth 50 to 80 to 100. It just kept jumping up in price until they got basically reprinted so many times that it dropped the price down for it. So it's not as expensive as it used to be. Now, the other cards I'm going to talk about is Pokemon EX Team Market returns. If anybody knows, if anybody actually wanted to get any of the hollows of the Rockets EXs, they're all worth more than 40 and up. That's expensive. The cheapest is Hitmonchan, and then and the most expensive in this whole set right here is Mewtwo, which is like around 130. But they all jump in price. If you were trying to get that whole set right there, you're going to pay a pretty penny. The next thing I'm going to jump on is basically these guys right here. Now, everybody knows these guys some of them are from Aqua Palace, Sky Ridge, and EX Unforeseen Forces. All of these guys are worth more than $100 a piece. Actually, not you, but yeah. All of these guys are worth actually more than 100. Celebi EX is actually worth, I actually have the prices here. Celebi EX should be in the bottom, and it's worth 56. But compared to these guys, this guy's 213. This guy's $100. This guy's 115. This guy is remind me about Lugia. I can't remember. $105. So they're all worth more than $105, except for Celebi EX, which is worth 56. But that also brings me to my next little guys. All of these guys right here are worth more than $50. You're not paying $100 for one of them. The closest you'll pay is for 100 is this guy, which is actually $93. Or am I wrong? Let me double check for you guys. Yeah, 95. Which actually kind of sucks if you tell me. No, is it? Yeah, it's around there. But they're all worth more than $50 a piece. So if you were trying to start collecting now, it would be horrible to try to start collecting because how expensive a lot of these cards are. And these guys right here, if you were trying to start Sky Ridge and start collecting the holos, all of these guys right here are worth more than $100. Either they are 100 or a little more than 100. I know Gengar is 100, but they're worth a lot of money. Next off, and I'm gonna keep going, guys, because this is how expensive it is. And I basically completed all my binders all the way up to Unforeseen Forces, and I have also Pop Series 1, 2, and 3. I have Wizard promos, Best of promos, Southern promos, Nintendo promos. I have a lot of stuff, and I spend a lot of money in these cards. And yeah, it is a very expensive hobby. Now, Charizard EX, mine is not in mint condition, but if you had it in mint condition, it would be worth around $220. These two Charizards right here, which I'm actually shocked they're around the same price, seeing how Nationals is much harder to get. Nationals is 120, and this Charizard right here is 115. So it's not much of a big difference, but still, if you were to want to get both of them, just to say I have both of them for my collection, yeah, they're very expensive. Now I'm going to move on to my next stuff, like Basic Charizard. If you were trying to get Basic Charizard, not first edition, is $120. Clefable pre-release is actually worth $300. I'm so glad I paid $40 for it when I did. Wizard Stamp Dark Charmeleon is worth $50. Just for a stamp, and this is like basically an uncommon in Team Rocket. And it's like, wow, $50 for just a stamp. It's like, wow. And mind you, I'm getting all my prices from Troll and Toad. So, and I also only looked at mint conditions. So next off, I'm going to go in with the crystals. And these are all the crystal guys. All of these crystal guys are worth more than $100. And the most expensive crystal is this Crystal Charizard, which is worth $1,200 if you have it mint. Mine is actually danked up, so it drops in price, but still, a lot of these crystal guys are worth more than $100. The cheapest you will pay for one is $143, which will be Crystal Needle King. That's really expensive. If you also had the reverse foils, they're also pricey. This Crystal Charizard reverse foil is worth $570. This Golem is $63. And there's a huge price difference because I said $1,200 for the inside foil instead of reverse foil. And for Golem, it's $63 for reverse foil, and the inside foil will be $153. So yeah, it is like, wow, it is like a big chunk of different in money, especially if you were trying to collect all of them. And see how you do. The next one I'm going to talk about is all the shining Pokemon. All the shining cards. Luckily for me, I traded for shining Tyranitar. Luckily for me, I pulled shiny Gyarados out of a pack. Luckily for me, I got this first edition Magikarp for $10. And all of these guys, these shiny guys, are all worth more than $100, except for yeah, it's the 63 and up, which the cheapest is Magikarp. 88 for shiny Gyarados, 100 for Celebi, 370 for Charizard, 75 for Kabutops, and 62 for Noctowl, Mewtwo 165, Raichu 120, 85, Tyranitar 125, 85 for Steelix. And then the prices go up if they're first edition. None of them are actually below 175. That's the cheapest you can get, and that'll be the Magikarp. So 175 for my Magikarp. Moving on to the gold stars. These are all the gold stars that came out for all the sets I have. And these guys are actually pricey. Again, these guys jump also in price. Shining Rayquaza, Gold Star Rayquaza is like $770. Nope, $730. Latios and Latios, $420, $375, and they're all very expensive. You're not gonna get them for like $200. It's all up there, except for the dogs. The dogs are actually the three legendary dogs, which are these guys. They're the only three out of these gold stars that are actually worth 120 and down. The cheapest you can get is 110, 120 for the other two. So yeah, you're looking at around $340 just to get those three dogs in gold, with the gold star symbol. And lastly, I wanted to talk about my promos. World 05 is actually in a very expensive promo. When I got it for $50, and I won it in a bid. But right now, if you were to try to get it, in Troll and Toad, it'll be $85. So it didn't jump up much, but it's still very pricey. This Meta Tank was $25 when I first saw it. Back in the day when it was first released, it was $5, and only 500 of these actually got released. So it was $5 to get them. But I got to the point where I basically got him when he was where I got him for $40. Now he's worth $99, almost $100. And the European exclusive promos for the Nintendo promos with the Pokeballs, and they're for the starters. They're actually worth, Trico is $59, and the other two are $83 and $85. So they're very, very pricey cards, and that's the thing with collecting for cards. They're very pricey. They're very expensive. It's not like you're gonna get them for cheap. And lastly, I wanted to talk about Magic. There's two cards I know that are very expensive, and that's Guardian Beast for Arabian Nights, which actually costs $500. I should have gotten it when I had the chance to get him for $40 or $50, but now he's $500. That's insane. Nether Void. That's another card that I wanted to get, but I wasn't gonna pay $300 and something for it, and now it's worth $770. And the older the cards are and they're not reprinted, the more expensive they are. Unless nobody cares for them and then they have too much, then the price drops. But there are a lot of cards are very expensive, and that's what sucks. So you guys want to leave a comment saying, oh yeah, I have this expensive card, and let me know the name and eBay or check it out how much it is and Google. I'll be like damn. But there are more cards that are actually expensive. I've gone to conventions where I've seen cards for $1,500, and I'm just like, what? So yeah, there are a lot of expensive cards out there. So with that being said, I got a special thanks for you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys